The Detroit Lions, in my opinion, face a must-win against the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football. And we have, as the trade deadline is looming, I believe, and I've said this many times, that the Detroit Lions will be buyers at the trade deadline. But how important is tonight's game? It is extremely important to keep hope alive for that number one seed in the NFC. Currently, the Detroit Lions are the third seed, losing the tiebreaker to the Seattle Seahawks, dropping down to 3. Now they have an opportunity to go back up to 2 with the win today, as the Seattle Seahawks have already had their bye week, and the Detroit Lions bye week is heading into week 9. So they would carry the second seed at least heading into the week 9 matchups next weekend. But this game is important. It will be a chance for the Detroit Lions to win their third consecutive primetime game this year. That hasn't been done in quite a long time for the Detroit Lions. This is already in 8 weeks our third primetime game. We've already been flexed as well into a middle game slot, and there's potential that we can get flexed into Sunday Night Football coming. I want to say it can happen as early as next week against the Chargers. The Chargers won yesterday. If they win next week, they go to 4-4, and then we could have a 4-4 Charger team against a 6-2 Detroit Lions team. But why is today so important? The win is so important because it's a team we should beat. And also, it sets up a pretty decent week 9 and 10 as the season continues. So let's take a look real quick on the week 9 games. Now, the Detroit Lions are off next week. This is the week 9 schedule. It's going to be a decent slate of games all across the board. Obviously, the Germany game, I believe, is the Dolphins and Chiefs. That doesn't affect us in any way. This game here, the Ravens and the Seattle Seahawks. What they win today, the Lions move to 6-2. They go back and have the second seed. A loss here, a win by the Seattle Seahawks will put them back in second, and a loss would drop them down quite a ways. I mean, they right now are the first seed, I believe, in the NFC West. I did not see that coming after the third loss in a row by the San Francisco 49ers. Now we go to the other game that has a big effect on us. This one right here. This is a tough spot to be in. If the Cowboys win this game, they move to 6-2. The Philadelphia Eagles would drop to 7-2. The Philadelphia Eagles are off week 10. I said week 9 yesterday, but it is week 10. So that would move it would still keep the Eagles as the first seed. The Eagles cannot lose the first seed no matter what heading into week 10. So that would be the Cowboys would move to 6-2, and the Philadelphia Eagles would drop to 6-1. Now, if we go to week 10, this is when it gets good. We come back and we have to face the Chargers. So if we go to right here, this is going to be a really good game. The Niners have fallen out of the division leader standings, and they are now currently the 5th seed, losing yesterday, and they play the Jaguars on the road. They could lose their 4th in a row coming up, which would bump them down either further. I was terrified of this team, but not so much anymore. I think we could definitely handle business. And right now, they're on the road during the playoffs, so they're going to have to get some wins in the column. I'm not sure it comes during this. The Jaguars are hot. So now we go to this game here. We have to win this game. We win this game, we go to 7-2, which would make the Eagles off. They're off, and they would sit, assuming they lose to the Cowboys, they would be 7-2 heading into week 11. So again, if you keeping up with me, the Eagles play the Cowboys this Sunday. Cowboys win that game. They go to 6-2. Eagles go to 7-2. Then the Eagles are off in week 10. The Detroit Lions need to win tonight, go to 6-2, move back into second place, currently held by the Seattle Seahawks. And then they're off next week. So they're off, Eagles play, then the Eagles are off, we play. Now, what does that shape up for the playoff picture? Last year, we were talking about the first pick in the draft, and I think we were 1-5 right now. No, we were 1-6. 1-6, and the trade deadline was a week earlier, I believe. I think it was a week earlier. Don't quote me on that, but I know we had only played, I want to say 6 games. Maybe we had our bye week or something like that. I can't remember. But here is, as we look at the playoff picture for why is this game so important? Okay, so stay with me if you can. I love this stuff. This is my favorite time of year. Y'all talking about draft picks this time last year. I was talking about how the Detroit Lions can make the playoffs. All right, love this time of year. Eagles, if the Eagles lose to the Cowboys, they will drop to 7-2, and then they're off. If they win tonight, the Lions reclaim the second seed. The Seahawks will then fall to the third seed today. Next week, if the Cowboys beat, the Cowboys will remain in fifth place no matter what happens next week against the Eagles, because the Eagles, at worst case, will be 7. They'll have that extra game, so they will have a half a game lead at this point. Going into week 10, Lions beat the Chargers. Here's where it gets good. If the Eagles lose to the Cowboys and both teams are 7-2, according to the tiebreaker rules, because we don't have any head-to-heads, it's going to go off common opponents. I don't really understand common opponents, the terminology, what it means in the NFL. But if the Lions, if things fall in place, the Lions win today, the Seahawks lose, the Lions win next week, and the Eagles lose coming up against the Dallas Cowboys, we could be in the number 1 seed. But that would also require the Dallas Cowboys to lose, I want to say, against the New York Giants. I don't know if the Cowboys being 7-2 puts them ahead of us. Again, this would probably be common. I think it goes division and then common opponent, something like that. So the Detroit Lions, how important is today's game? It's important. Do I think that we're going to have the number 1 seed out of week 10 if we win against the Chargers? I fully expect us to win tonight. There's no reason we should lose. We beat the Chargers and we moved to 7-2. A lot of things have to happen for us to even have a potential at the number 1 seed. But that would shape up for a massive week 11 as the Detroit Lions head into, as a matter of fact, let's look at week 11. I didn't plan to look at week 11, but let's look into week 11. We play the Chicago Bears. The Dallas Cowboys play the Carolina Panthers, and the Philadelphia Eagles play the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Philadelphia Eagles could possibly be 7-3 in week 11. The Dallas Cowboys, it's crazy, right? So just to keep pressure on the Philadelphia Eagles and to keep pace with what I suspect to be the Dallas Cowboys, we need to win tonight's game. Super duper important, because we could go into week 10 with essentially like a 2 to 3 way tie for first place. I mean, somebody will have first place. It'll probably be the Eagles at that point. But heading into the Chicago Bears game in week 11, the Detroit Lions could come out of week 11 as the first seed in the NFL. To be honest with you, the first seed is attainable because there are a lot of things that could happen, right? And it would be funny because all roads run through Detroit. That's what they said that's what Dan Campbell said the last game of the season. That's what Sheila Hemp said as well. So that would be ironic if that was to happen. But there's a really good chance. I don't expect the Detroit Lions to be lower than the third seed. Ideally, first seed would be fantastic. The second seed is not a bad place to be either, because if you're the second seed, you're going to play the 6th seed at home. You win that game, you're probably going to play the third seed. And if the first seed is upset by a lower seed, the Detroit Lions would host the NFC title game. So today is a big step in the right direction. Got to get the W today, but let me know your thoughts. I love this stuff. This is what I enjoyed this tremendously. While a lot of people want to do mock drafts, and even if the Lions were 1-6, I would still be talking about the playoffs. You guys know I have receipts. You can go back and look on last year. At last year, we were 1-6, and I was talking about how the Detroit Lions can make the playoffs. And what do you know? We were a tiebreaker away from making the playoffs. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I know I might have overloaded your mind a little bit, but that's okay. It'll clear up as the weeks go on. Last year, we were talking about draft picks, and today we're talking about seeding and a potential first seed in the NFC. How great would that be? So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. We grew pretty much yesterday by 50 or so, and the YouTube is going to activate that subscribe button animation. So if you haven't subscribed, hopefully sometime before December hits, you will see the white button. It will have like a very close to the thumbs up. It's like this rainbow animation that when the creator says subscribe, it should start to animate, and that will help subscribers or potential subscribers subscribe to the channel. So I have to remember to say it more. I stopped doing call to actions a long time ago. I just figured you would subscribe, but it does help. I didn't want to really badger you into subscribing, but a gentle reminder is good as well. So I would appreciate it if you guys do. On a push to 16,000, hopefully trying to get to 25 by the time the Lions season is over, and that could be in the middle of February. So you never know. If the Lions make a trade at the trade deadline, we could be talking Super Bowl. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.